Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm just jumping on here for a quick Facebook Live flash video. And what I wanted to share with us today is the secret to the apple cider vinegar. So you may have seen it. This one is my favorite, which is Bragg's, the raw apple cider vinegar. And what we're talking about is its benefits for digestion. So a lot of people always ask me about this kind of fad or what it's all about. And really, when we touched on it earlier this week, your diet is only as good as your digestibility, meaning that even if your diet is really fantastic, you've got lots of vegetables, lots of fruits, lots of lean meats and proteins and veggies and lentils, that's amazing. But unless you can digest all those foods down, break them down into their teeny tiniest little units and make all those vitamins and minerals and macronutrients available to be absorbed by the body, you're not necessarily getting all the benefits. And sometimes, as we've been talking about with energy, sometimes that can be a really big sign is that fatigue is that you're not breaking down your foods appropriately. So really quick trick or quick hack might be adding in some apple cider vinegar before your meals. And really, this is the huge part about it, is it has to be before you eat. Maybe like 10, 15 minutes, doesn't need to be anything really huge. But what that does is it kind of creates this digestion to brain or gut to brain connection that we need to happen. So when we take apple cider vinegar, you get that really tangy kind of salivary experience in your mouth. It kind of gives you the face that happens sometimes. And so what that does is that is a signal to the brain that tells you that food is coming because you've created that salivary response. So once the brain knows like, oh yeah, food is on its way, your brain sends more signals down to the rest of the body. So it sends some basically it's sending some signals to your stomach to produce more stomach acid to break down our proteins and break down our food in our stomach. It also mobilizes all of your pancreatic enzymes and some of the digestive enzymes that are in your gut border. So it kind of gets everything prepped and ready to go before food even gets there. I always use the analogy that it's basically the same as if you were starting your car in the winter. So before you go out and drive in the winter and it's covered in ice and all the snow, you usually turn your car on, you let it warm up, you chip off all the ice, you let it get ready to go, and then you go and drive it out on the highway. This is kind of the same analogy that we're using for apple cider vinegar, is that you're getting your digestion ready to go. So what you would want to do is probably maybe about a tablespoon, a little bit even less, sometimes even like half a tablespoon to a teaspoon, and you're just going to drink that down. There are some recommendations that you can put it with water. Ideally, you want to minimize how much water you put it in because you want to get that salivary response. If you drink it and it kind of just doesn't, you don't get that enhancement of the mouth and the salivary response, it's not necessarily doing what we need it to do. We need it to act like what's called a bitter in herbal medicine. We need to get that saliva moving because that's the whole reason behind why we're using apple cider vinegar. There's some studies that show that, you're adding more acid into the stomach. I think that helps a little bit, but in my opinion, it's all about the mobilization and the readiness of the digestive system to get everybody ready to go so that when food actually gets to those places, you're like primed and ready. You're ready to break all those things down and break them down more efficiently and more effectively so that you can absorb things a lot better. The better your absorption, the better your health, the better your energy. It's just an overall improvement across the board when it comes to digestion. So that's a quick, simple little trick you can do is adding in maybe about half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar just before you go to eat, 10 to 15 minutes before eating, and see how it goes. See if you notice any improvements or any changes. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.